Heidern sat on the porch of his farmhouse, watching the twin suns of Kepler 442b dip below the horizon. His mechanical left arm whirred softly as he raised a cup of synthetic coffee to his lips. 20 years since the Dominion Wars had ended, and still the silence felt too loud. The farm stretched before him, rows of earth crops growing in alien soil, a testament to human stubbornness. Most veterans had returned to the core worlds, but Heidern had chosen this frontier planet. Fewer questions here, fewer memories. "Papa!" The shout pulled him from his thoughts. Elisa burst through the door, her dark hair wild, eyes bright with excitement. At 19, she had inherited her mother's spirit, the same fearlessness that had cost him everything during the siege of Proxima Station. "What is it, little star?" he asked, using the nickname that hadn't fit her for years. "We found something, someone, in the Eastern Valley." Elisa grabbed his good arm. "She's hurt, Papa, really hurt." Heidern's warrior instincts flared. "She? What species?" "That's the thing." Elisa hesitated. "She's Drakari." The cup slipped from his fingers, shattering on the wooden planks. Drakari. The empire that had burned half the human colonies. The enemy he'd spent 5 years fighting. "Absolutely not," he said flatly. "Papa, please." "I said no, Elisa." But his daughter had that look, the one that said she'd already made up her mind. She'd inherited that from her mother, too. By the time Heidern reached the Eastern Valley with his medical kit, the sun had set completely. His younger daughter, Mira, only 14, sat beside a massive scaled form, holding a dampened cloth to what appeared to be a severe burn wound. The Drakari woman was magnificent and terrible at once. Even collapsed and wounded, she stood nearly 8 feet tall. Crimson scales covered her body, darker along her spine where vestigial wing ridges traced her shoulder blades. Her face was angular, elegant in a way that seemed carved from ancient stone. Golden eyes flickered open as Heidern approached, focusing on him with predatory intensity. "Stay back, human," she rasped in perfect standard, though her voice carried harmonics no human throat could produce. "I am Sovereign Guard. I will not be captured." "You're on my land," Heidern replied coldly, "and you're dying. Those are plasma burns. Without treatment, you have maybe 6 hours." The dragon woman tried to rise, but her body betrayed her, collapsing back into the grass. Mira looked up at her father with pleading eyes. "She crashed 3 kilometers from here," Mira said quietly. "Her ship broke apart in the atmosphere. She dragged herself this far." Heidern studied the Drakari woman's wounds with a soldier's eye. Severe, but treatable. He'd seen worse on human soldiers and brought them back from the edge. His hands moved before his mind could catch up, opening the medical kit. "This is going to hurt," he said, kneeling beside her. "But I'm guessing you already know that." The dragon woman's eyes narrowed. "Why would you help me? Your kind has every reason to let me die." Heidern paused, meeting her gaze. In those golden depths, he saw something familiar, the exhaustion of someone who'd seen too much war, carried too many scars. "My daughters asked me to," he said simply, "applying regenerative gel to the worst of the burns. And despite what your empire might think, humans don't leave people to die on our doorstep." 3 weeks passed. The dragon woman, who finally introduced herself as Sirath, recovered in the farmhouse's spare room. Her presence transformed the home in ways Heidern hadn't expected. She taught Elisa about Drakari stellar navigation, sketching star maps with clawed fingers. She showed Mira how her people cultivated crystal gardens on their desert homeworlds. And slowly, reluctantly, Heidern found himself sharing meals with his former enemy. "Your war," Sirath said one evening, as they sat on the porch beneath unfamiliar constellations, "was not the one my people wanted. The Sovereign Council was overthrown 2 years after the armistice." Many of us in the Guard tried to prevent the atrocities. A lot of humans died, Hydern said quietly. Yes. Sirath's scales dimmed, a sign of shame he'd learned to recognize. As did many of my people. War makes monsters of us all. Hydern looked at his mechanical arm, remembering the explosion that had taken the original, remembering the Drakari soldiers he'd killed, remembering his wife's last transmission from Proxima Station. I was so angry, he admitted, for so long. I came here because I couldn't stand to be around people who wanted me to be a hero. I just wanted to be alone with it. And then your daughters brought home a dragon, Sirath said, something like humor warming her voice. Yeah. Hydern found himself smiling, actually smiling. They have a habit of breaking my carefully constructed solitude. Elisa appeared in the doorway, grinning. Someone has to keep you from becoming a complete hermit, Papa. Besides, Sirath makes amazing solar tea, and she's teaching me plasma engineering. Your daughters, Sirath said, watching Elisa with something that looked like wonder, are extraordinary. They see not what someone is, but who they could become. It's a very human quality. Is it? Hydern asked. Oh, yes. Sirath's golden eyes reflected the starlight. We Drakari respect strength, honor tradition. But humans, you persist, you hope. Even after everything, you extend your hand to a fallen enemy. She looked at him directly. It's terrifying, actually. And beautiful. Mira called from inside, announcing dinner was ready. As they stood, Sirath's wing ridge brushed against Hydern's shoulder. An accident. Or perhaps not. Thank you, she said softly, for being human enough to save me. Hydern watched his daughters laughing in the kitchen, watched this dragon woman who had become part of their strange little family. The loneliness that had been his constant companion for 2 decades felt lighter somehow. Stay, he said, surprising himself. As long as you need, maybe longer. Sirath's scales brightened, shifting through shades of crimson and gold. I would like that, Hydern, very much. Under the alien stars, on a frontier world far from both their peoples, something new was beginning. Not forgetting, but forgiving. Not replacing what was lost, but building something different. The garden would grow,